Hello and welcome to the Luv Doc podcast with hosts Waldo Wachewski and Ophelia Brewski.
Today, we're looking at something that, well, it seems simple enough. Tipping for takeout.
Seems straightforward, right?
But it really isn't. As we're going to find out, this little act opens up, well, a huge conversation. We're talking work, value, the whole economic system we live in.
Yeah.
And it starts with this friend's question to the Luv Doc.
Yeah.
Now, this friend, she used to be a server, right?
Yeah, background in service.
And now she's a hostess. Upscale place in Austin. She's busy, likes the team, but the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not what she thought it would be.
Right.
What was it specifically about the restaurant's takeout situation that, became so central to the Luv Doc?
Well, she mentions they do a lot of takeout, a really substantial amount. But, and here's the kicker, only about half the people actually tip on those orders.
Only half. Wow.
Yeah. And even when they do tip, she says it's often, pretty minimal, $1 or $2 maybe. This is despite quite a bit of work going into getting those orders ready, prepping, packing, coordinating everything.
Right. It's not just handing over a bag.
Not at all. And what makes it even more maybe puzzling is she points out that Austin is supposedly booming, getting wealthier. But this tipping behavior, or lack of it, just continues. So that immediately flags this question, doesn't it, about how we value labor, especially the kind of work that feels maybe a bit less visible than, say, having a waiter at your table the whole meal.
That less visible idea feels really key here. Does the author get into why some work becomes invisible like that, especially now with so much service happening digitally or remotely?
Oh, absolutely. The Luv Doc makes the case that this invisibility, it often comes from a kind of societal discomfort. We don't like facing certain economic truths.
So it's easier to just ignore the labor, ignore the person doing it.
Pretty much. If it doesn't fit into a neat, comfortable story, we tend to look away.
Okay, so the Luv Doc, they were initially really fired up, right? Ready to write this whole takedown of capitalism.
Yeah, totally angry.
But then something happened, something kind of unexpected that changed their whole direction. What was that catalyst?
It was actually a really mundane moment, almost funny. Their dog started barking.
At an unhoused person who was rolling down the street playing music from a Bluetooth speaker.
Okay.
And the author describes the sound so vividly, like a squeaky toy being stepped on by a large man wearing soft Crocs. That specific, almost absurd image that became the turning point for the whole piece. It shifted the focus completely.
That is such a specific kind of jarring image, but it leads somewhere deep pretty quickly, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Because that small detail made the author stop and think, why the loudspeaker? Why not just use earbuds?
Right.
And the answer the Luv Doc lands on is, well, it's both really sad and incredibly insightful. That annoyingly mid-rangey Bluetooth speaker is announcing to the world, I exist.
Wow. I exist.
Yeah, it's this raw claim for presence, for acknowledgement in a world that often just tries to make certain people invisible.
That's powerful. The author calls the system we're in the appallingly unchristian economic system. So how does the Luv Doc draw the line from these big systemic problems, wealth sheltering, lobbying back to me, or you deciding whether to tip on our pizza pickup? Well, it argues that these huge structural issues, they create a situation where basic needs just aren't being met for a lot of people.
Okay.
And that forces everyday things like tipping to become sort of default social safety nets, like makeshift ones.
Wow.
So the Luv Doc is basically asking us, look, if the system itself isn't supporting people properly, what responsibility does that put back on us, the individuals living inside that system?
Right.
And this whole I exist idea connects right back to the takeout worker.
Holy crap! You're psychotically obsessed with the Luv Doc, but can't think of a flashy gauche way to share your obsession with the world? Stop thinking and make a beeline for the Luv Doc's home sweet home on the interwebs, thepleasurecraft.com, where you can find a veritable treasure trove of sick merch that will make even your coolest friends super gel. Honestly, I don't know why you didn't already think of this yourself, but you're welcome. Have fun on the Pleasure Craft. It was made just for you. Let me spell it out for you one more time. www.thepleasurecraft.com.
The argument is that just like the person with the speaker, the very real work involved in getting that takeout order ready.
Preparing it, packing it.
Exactly. All that labor is often unseen. It's invisible. And so it doesn't get acknowledged with a tip. It's another form of invisible labor, basically making the same claim. Recognize me. acknowledge my work, my existence.
This whole idea of invisible labor and this pressure on individuals to sort of pick up the slack for systemic failures. I mean, we see debates like this around the gig economy or, charity versus actual policy changes. Does the Luv Doc go into those parallels? Or does it stick pretty close to this specific tipping scenario?
It mainly focuses on this particular situation, the tipping one. But the critique underneath it, yeah, that definitely applies more broadly.
Okay.
The doc argues that when we ignore, or maybe just accept, how the system lets corporations and the super rich, shelter their wealth, influence politicians, cut support for people who desperately need it, well, we kind of become complicit in that.
Not a comfortable thought.
Not at all. And that, the author suggests, is why something that feels insanely annoying, like feeling obligated to tip just so someone can maybe pay their rent or afford medicine, becomes something else. It turns into a direct personal response to a failing system.
Okay, so given that really powerful insight about visibility, about just existing, let's circle back to where we started, the takeout tip. What's the final word from the author on this?
Their advice is super direct, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's blunt.
Tip generously. Tip like it's your personal responsibility to fix the income gap. Tip like you're trying to make sure you can sleep at night. I mean, that's not just saying be nice and leave a couple of bucks.
No, it's way beyond simple courtesy.
It feels like it completely reframes it. It's not a transaction. It's suddenly like a moral duty.
Yeah.
How does the Luv Doc justify putting that weight, that responsibility, so heavily on the individual person picking up their food instead of, say, pushing for policy change or blaming the corporation?
And that is precisely the uncomfortable twist, isn't
Yeah.
it? The author isn't just giving advice on manners.
No.
They're saying, look, while we absolutely should critique the big systemic problems, the corporations, the tax loopholes, all of it, our own inaction or maybe our quiet acceptance of the status quo, that plays a role too.
So that final line, but if you're going to be angry about it, be angry at yourself for letting it come to this. Wow. That's a real call for some serious self-reflection.
Yeah, it really is.
The argument is that, okay, the system allows these huge inequalities to exist. So in that context, the act of tipping becomes this tangible, immediate way to push back against the dehumanizing effect of making someone's labor invisible.
It's like a small act of recognition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a way to say, I see you, I value this, where the larger system is failing to do so. It's about facing up to our own part, however small, in allowing a system to persist where this kind of individual burden even feels necessary.
Wow. Okay. What a journey. We started with just, should you tip when you grab takeout?
Yeah, seems so simple.
And we've ended up talking about how that tiny act connects to these massive economic forces, the whole concepts of invisible work and these really deep systemic problems.
And the core argument from the Luv Doc, it's pretty clear, I think. Tipping isn't just, being polite. It can be seen as a direct action, okay, maybe a small one, but still an action within this whole economic picture.
An action that acknowledges the work.
Acknowledges the work, acknowledges the existence of the people doing that work. And of course, there's that really challenging idea the Luv Doc leaves us with about looking inward at ourselves.
It really makes you think, if this simple thing, tipping or not tipping, can shine a light on that profound statement, I exist. Well, what other things that we do every day, seemingly without thinking, might be sending out these much bigger messages about the economy we all share?
Right. What signals are we sending?
To read the column that spawned this podcast, go to austinchronicle.com/columns/the Luv Doc. There are probably worse things to do with your time, right?